Hello everyone, thank you for coming out today. We'd like to talk to you about Be the Boss. Be the Boss is a game where you decide because it's your team. You hire, fire, and write the checks. In this game, you're the owner, but you play the role of the general manager and the coach too. You get to choose from NFL, football, MLB, baseball, NBA, basketball, or NHL, hockey, and grow your own empire. This game involves more of the business side to sports versus the actual gameplay of sports. You can compare it to Madden sports, where in Madden you are able to customize some of the options in your team and choose your team that you want to play. However, this game goes much further into detail than Madden. Also, with Madden, you have to buy a different game for each sport. There's only one game for hockey, then one game for basketball, etc. Whereas in Be the Boss, one game you can choose from all 4 different leagues. When you first start playing the game, the first thing you do is you pick your sports league that you want to play. Then you pick your team within that league. Then, of course, you would pick your employees, which would be your coach, your players, number of janitors for your locker room, etc. Basically, everything is at your disposal in this game. As you progress, you better your team, you make more money, and you can unlock certain items and certain abilities. You can change the jerseys for your team even. So, for example, let's say you choose the San Francisco Giants. They have orange jerseys. Well, let's say you don't like orange, you can make them green and blue. And that's your choice, even though in reality, we all know they're not green and blue. You can still do it on the game. You can also choose custom stadiums, change the size of the stadiums, the shape of them, how many people they hold, and you can even customize down to the food that is sold at the stadiums. It's also up to you to promote ticket sales, and that means you get to choose your sponsors and your budget and your ads, what kind of ads you want to have, etc. Also, as the role of the coach, you can choose your player lineups. So if you do have a baseball team, you can choose who you want to bat first, second, third, and so on. Your job as the boss comes down to hiring, firing, trading players, and even running drafts. You can even choose from high schools. You can go to the high school in the game, and it will bring up a list of their best players with all their stats, and that's how you would hold the draft in the game. Again, this game is more of the business side of sports, so it's not going to involve any actual gameplay of the sport itself. The gameplay for you, the player, is to build your sports empire. In a way, you can probably compare it to the Sims game, in the way that in the Sims, you design your character, and then you send your character off to work, and then when they come home, that's where you customize them. And in Be the Boss, it's the same concept where you design your team, and then you kind of send it to work, and then once they come home from work or come home from playing the game, then you can make more customizations. The characters are the players, the employees, and basically anyone that you choose to hire for the team. The setting is anything that you want to customize. So for example, if you choose to customize your stadium, then the setting in the background or the setting on your screen is going to be the stadium. The locker room would pop up if you're going to customize your players or something having to do with your players or their jerseys. And The office would come up if you're customizing something that has to do with money.
The target audience for this game is sports fans. It should be especially popular among people who enjoy participating in fantasy sports leagues, and also with fans of games like The Sims. These fans will have a wonderful time selecting players for their teams and customizing the athletic experience. The game will be easy enough for anyone to pick up once they start playing, with many options for customization and some allowances made for new players to get the hang of things. Therefore, the skill level required for the player is not very high. There are opportunities in this game for multiplayer interactions, though most of these are over a server rather than in the same room through a second controller. Because of the highly customizable nature of this game, the time spent creating a team would be too long for multiplayers to play on the same system. However, it lends itself rather well to multiplayer server gaming or multiplayer gaming similar to the games like Call of Duty. Multiple gamers can play their teams against each other and share modifications they have made to their customizable options. The players can practice their teams or put them in a league so they can have a chance to play other teams. The objective of the game is to create the best team in the league. Every choice you make in the game affects how well your team will play. The players you choose, the stadium you design, even the color of the jerseys you pick will affect the team in different ways. This is done through the use of a point system. Different team attributes such as morale, skill, and endurance are given a maximum amount of points. Each team starts with the same amount of points in each category, and each modification adds or subtracts points. For example, by adding a star player to a football team, the skill points level increases. By changing the team color from a confident red and black to a pastel pink and yellow, the morale points will decrease. Designing a stadium with poor ventilation and not putting air conditioning units in it will decrease the visiting team's endurance. But any team practicing regularly there will see an increase in endurance when playing in other stadiums. As teams make their way through their games, they will gain in some skills. There are checks and balances to the points system to prevent all gamers from setting the same modifications to their teams. The players who take on handicaps at the beginning of the game reap rewards in categories that the other players who try to power through their game do not. The game is designed to allow for and to encourage the more advanced strategies of gamers. The rules of the game follow the league rules for the different sports involved and have caps on maximum skill points for each team. To keep the game fresh, as a skill cap is approached, the player has the option of moving to a higher league, where the cap is increased and the players can compete against more challenging teams. One of the best parts of the game is when the gamer can see the work they put into their team paying off. When a player's team goes against another player's team, they have a few options. They can watch the highlights of the game, which are done through cutscenes or NPC programming, or they can read the stats for the game. This will give them an idea of what needs to be done for their team in the future.
Be the Boss will be available later this year on both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 upon their launches. The processors accompanying the next generation systems are built in a way that is sustainable to all the complex computations and events that are held within the gaming engine of our game. At the current time, during development, the current generation systems work well for our beta testing, but when we roll out the full version of the game, they will not be able to sustain the computing power we need to ensure a top-level user experience. There are a lot of similarities between the controllers and the interfaces for both the PlayStation and the Xbox that we can make it available for both systems. Because of the differences in the PC and the Nintendo Wii, we will not be releasing Be the Boss for either at their launch. A PC version of the game will be made available at a later date after the launch on Xbox and PlayStation as we see what bugs slip past the beta testing and find better ways to make the PC experience equal to, if not more, enjoyable than the console counterparts. Along with our console launch of Be the Boss, we will be co-launching a phone application to complement your play with the console version. The application will be free to those that have purchased the full version of the game for either the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. A download code will be provided inside the packaging for the game. To redeem your phone application, you can either enter the code in the iOS App Store or the Android Google Play Store. After entering your code, you will be able to download the application to your selected device and begin use once your Xbox gamertag or PlayStation Network ID is associated with the application. The phone app will allow you to access all your timed events and actions that require a constant decision on your part, even when you're not logged into the console version of the game. This will help you to keep your selected franchise running, even when you are not able to log into your Xbox or PlayStation to play the full version of the game. By using the application only, you are able to keep your team running smoothly for up to 2 weeks worth of in-game time. This greatly increases the utility of the game and your ability to ensure that your team is successful. We believe this side-by-side option will greatly increase the enjoyment of your personal franchise. Currently, as I alluded to earlier, the game is in its beta testing phase. The Be the Boss beta version is currently available for download on both of the current generation consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. The role of a beta tester is simple. We want you to play our game and report back to us any problems you see in the game. Is the game sticking at a loading screen somewhere? Does selecting something not return any type of action? Does selecting something return an incorrect action? These are the types of things that we are hoping that you find, so that when the game is officially released, there's no problem with the gameplay and it is smooth. To do so, we ask that all players email us with any bugs, problems, or even suggestions that they have at betheboss@pegasusgaming.com. By using your feedback, we will provide you with the best version of the game as could be possible at our launch. Another reason for our beta testing is the simple fact we want you to enjoy it now. By enjoying and seeing what we have created now, we hope that you will share your experiences with your friends and get the word about Be the Boss out before the launch. In conclusion, Be the Boss promises to be unlike any sports game you have ever played. Not only is its game engine built to encompass you and everything there could possibly be detail-wise for your franchise, it offers this to fans of all 4 major sports. It doesn't matter if you're an NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, or NBA fan. Be the Boss has something for everyone. And by everyone, we mean everyone. Be the Boss's difficulty can be adjusted to support the biggest sports enthusiasts to someone that has never played a sports game before and is just getting into it. Once you are into it, you will never play the same game twice. With all the options at your fingertips, we can guarantee that no 2 franchises will ever be the same. One of the more exciting features of this game is the fact that you will be able to play against your friends. Building rivals and playing against other teams are at the heart of all sports, and being able to do so across the internet on our multitude of servers promises to bring an element to the game that will surely be exciting. We are very excited that the game will launch at the same time as both of the next generation consoles in the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But not only being able to play on your console, but using your phone to expand your experience will make gameplay something you can do from anywhere, not just the comfort of your home. When beta testing closes, we are sure that both the game will be the best it can possibly be, and our users will happily share their experience with their friends. We hope that you are as excited about this as we are. We know that you will enjoy it and can't wait to continue to mold it and add options to the game as its life progresses. Thanks for listening, and we hope to hear from you in the future.